We are starting our last session for today. Secretary General of Lithuanian Basketball Federation, Dr. Mindaugas Balciunas is with us. Basketball players training innovations and optimum physical load application. He will explain, and the stage is yours, Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much, dear friends. First of all, on behalf of Lithuanian Basketball Federation, International Basketball University, once again I want to thank for this great event, Mr. Levant, Mr. Tolga, Mr. Arem, and everybody who made us come here. We feel greatly here in Antalya. And yeah, it's nice to share each other understanding, each other knowledge. And I believe the main purpose of such meetings, of such seminars, is to develop critical thinking of coaches. Because in Lithuania, we have a philosophy that the coach who can find solution in every situation by himself is really good coach. So more knowledge you know, better solution you can find. And this is our main purpose, because there are no rules, clear rules to every situation. You have your own teams, you have your own players, they are very different, and only you can decide and understand which solution for many situations is the best. Because to create a player, to develop a player is an art, and coaches, like, you know, really big artists, they are designing player development in player, you know, way of improvement, and this is our philosophy. So exactly myself, I'm working in International Basketball University and also managing Lithuanian Basketball Federation. We're always with our colleagues, Professor Rutenis, Coach Dalius. We're always trying to find better ways of players' development. And, you know, there are, yeah, we have Lithuanian players' identity, we can call, playing way and so on, but we always should learn from others. And Spain, always one of the priority to learn for us, and also we can take a lot of good things from Turkish basketball. So we're always analyzing and improving our basketball system. And I will share my insight. Because as Professor Rutenis mentioned it, we are giving full responsibility for coaches in the national team, just to decide about everything. Our role as a federation just to ensure best possible condition for them to open, to reveal the talent of separate players and also a team. Okay, I will start from very general things. You know, why Lithuanian basketball is strong and really sustainable in victories. So yeah, we have general popularity of this basketball sport. It's totally, we call it religion, second religion of you know, in Lithuania, of sport. Then productive management system in basketball federations, that even smallest club from the maybe smallest village can directly impact basketball federation management, because they are coming, they are voting, they are presenting their ideas and so on. So this is, let's say, more management side. And here, two pillars, sportive pillars, and these reasons are most important why Lithuanian basketball is strong. Is first, well-organized training process. We have really strong basketball science, and we always improving and upgrading our programs. And Rutenis Paulauskas, he's professor in different universities in Lithuania, and he's main advisor of Basketball Federation. We have more professors who are always impacting, let's say, our understanding. So we are involving a lot. Of course, well-educated coaches. The minimum level in Lithuania to become a coach is bachelor degree in basketball coaching. So it's not too much easy, 4 years, bachelor degree, and only then you get license. Of course, we don't have many levels after you get this license. You can work wherever you wish, and every year you should get 30 hours of such seminar. So it's not too difficult after you get a bachelor degree. Of course, we have great local organizing competition system here. You cannot, I believe, find any other country in so small space, so many good teams. And this helps a lot us because when teams are coming to Lithuania, they can find a lot of opponents, different levels, different styles, and so on. And it's also very beneficial in creation, you know, of basketball players. And here selection is, we call it like 50% of your success. And talent identification, what Professor Rutenius just told, it's a crucial for future success. Because if you have really well selected guys or girls, so it's 50% of your future success. The rest is training impact, training process, and I will focus on training. So, okay, last 2 years of our youth teams, Rutenius just indicated that we had our colleagues with little bit different view on forming national teams and delivering responsibilities to coaches. So we are not about criticizing or saying what is good, what is bad, but it was not too successful period for our best. So we came back because before that I was 8 years Secretary General, then I took a break, and now I'm back for the 3rd year. So last 2 years it was really amazing for us. We had in boys competition 7 national teams, and 4 of 7 reached semifinals in different competition, world, European. We got 1 gold, 1 silver, 2 4th places. So we count this really everything is okay with the boys. And with girls last year we got really exceptional talented, I can say, generation, leading with Jocite. Jussi Jocite is called like woman Doncic, just to understand. Amazing girl, and we won under 18 European Championship last year, beating Spain, by the way. But yeah, this year we lost, so we always with Spain compete basically for medals. And yesterday was big day for Lithuania. We've been appointed as the organizers of 2027 Eurobasket Women's. So we hope that this generation, after 4 years, will be enough strong to compete in women's basketball. And of course, we have more talent to add on. So in general, this fact shows that system works well, but it means that also we need to upgrade, improve all the time. And I will share my insights, some my personal based on scientific research, because I really like, I'm not now too active in coaching because I'm a more manager, but I'm scientist, and I'm always looking to and reading scientific publications. I like it. We do different research in this group and so on. So I will share my insight, you know, what I think it's important to know for coaches, because coach as a personality must have critical thinking, recognize problems and know how to solve this problem. So from this sport talent abbreviation and just understanding, I should underline that the level of talent in both players may be the same, but success will favor the one with the better physical attributes. You know, I think there are a lot of information how to improve technical training in general, technical skills, a lot of focus on technical, tactical training and so on. But I believe there are too less focus on some physical attributes or physical abilities development. And we are working in many countries in Asia, and we are trying to change understanding, because if you take Philippines with hundreds of millions of people, Indonesia, China, we are working in these countries a lot. So we see that coaches mainly focusing on technical development, on technical skills, learning. This is right, of course. You must do in basketball, you know, you should know how to shoot, how to pass, how to dribble. But I believe these countries with their talent pool can be much better if they focus more on physical development. And this is my very clear understanding and advice for coaches when I speak in different conferences. So there are two scientific studies, not new studies. This is old knowledge. For instance, I'm always dividing two periods. It's a youth development and professional basketball. And I'm trying to understand and trying to show what you will need in professional basketball, not to forget when you are young, youth development. What you need to focus in the youth to come with in professional basketball. So there are two studies, relationship between team final standings and individual technical skills. As you can see, conclusion, strong relationship between offensive technical indicators, pass, dribbling, shooting, and team final standing. Our colleagues from Portugal made this good study. So it's mean in the youth category, if you want to be higher as a team, you need to focus on technical skills. This is very clear. If you training basketball, you need to focus on the technical skills. But it determine more better position in the standings in the youth category. If you go to the professional level, so you see that the study was about relationship between athletic performance, tests, and playing time in elite college basketball. So it's mean in professional level, who are playing more? These players who are better in general. This is logical. So here, study demonstrates the important relationship between leg strength, vertical jump, speed, and agility on playing time. It means these players who are stronger, they play more. Of course, they should have technical parameters. This is no doubt. But here, we should admit that physical fitness is more and more. In general, basketball trend is that basketball becoming more athletical. So you see NBA, even EuroLeague, and so on. So, just summarizing this idea, until 14 years old, more or less, more technical preparedness, and after, more physical and, of course, technical preparedness. But the main idea is what? When you are developing all the physical abilities that you will need in professional basketball until more or less 14, 15 years old, like agility, coordination, speed, power, all these physical abilities mainly can be improved, and all the fundamentals can be laid in the youth categories, in the youth age. And if you focus for, let's say, final results in the youth, just focusing only on technical, so you will lose this chance to put really strong fundamental of physical fitness. So this is the first message I want to tell you, and I will base now on the scientific research. So profiling in basketball, physical and physiological characteristics says very clearly that it would be reasonable to expect the elite basketball player to have jump height, as you've seen before, jump or explosive power, one of the main physical abilities that correlate with the playing time. So it means these players who are spending more time on the court, they are better than others. They have this ability developed better. So to have height value higher than 60 centimeters, this must be the goal of every basketball player, because I will show you later. I mean, many elite players who play in EuroLeague or NBA, they have this type of this height, let's say, 60 centimeters. Okay, 50, 60 centimeters. 60 is not always possible, but it's reasonable to expect. It's very well described. So we go further. Okay, I found a nice article, scientific article, which describes a lot of. Okay. I should. 1 second. Okay, yeah. I'll do like this. Okay, I will show you one article, which. Second. Maybe like. Second. So I found really nice study. Yeah, here. with a lot of information about testing. So yes, here you can see, I want to show Turkish. Okay, this is okay. Here, jump height. As you can see, here Turkish League, Division 1, and so on. And I don't know personally the scientist, but you can see the jump height 35 centimeters. It's really not EuroLeague, even Eurocup. Is not elite player level. I mean, we have some players like Sabonis, Father Sabonis, Arvidas Sabonis. So he never jumped 60 centimeters, but he's exceptional. I mean, we have more such players. But if we talk about the mass of players whom we have in national team, in Eurobasket, so this is and you see many others leagues, and in somewhere you can have really high, I don't know, 76 centimeters, maybe it's different methodics of measurements. It's not always, let's say, the same methodic, but I'm confident about 50 to 60 centimeters jump height, you know, in different professional leagues and so on. The same, more data about Turkish league, about the sprinting and so on. So objectively, we can say that improving fitness in Turkish players, elite players, they would play much better. They would reach much higher level in general. Okay, so I'm continuing with what I finished. 1 second. Okay. So here you can see data. Just please focus on counter movement, jump, and this is Lithuanian youth schools data, starting from 8 years, finishing with 70, and as you can see, counter movement, vertical jump with arm swings, how it vary year by year, starting from 25, but finishing with 54, around 50. So everything what is over 50 is really, I mean, high level players in this level. So, but it's not easy, of course, to develop. And again, I'm coming back to this table where it's shown, if you want to set fundamentals for good fitness, and especially these physical abilities that you will need in professional basketball, you need to focus it until 15, 16 years old in this, starting from 10 and go. If you not focusing enough, later on will be very hard to develop it. Okay, another very important news that jumping ability helping other physical ability to be better, to have better other physical abilities that you will have and you will need in professional basketball. So plyometric jumping programs improve muscle power, liner speed, change of direction, speed, balance, all physical abilities that you will need in professional basketball. So plyometric training as an expression of jumping, explosive power development, can help in other stuff as well. And here, one of the program of plyometric training, you can find a lot programs and scientifically proved. Of course, application in youth categories should be sensitive because it's really dynamic physical load. You cannot hurt and so on, but a lot of recommendation how to apply it, a lot of recommendation. But what I want to show you, this is, okay, different types of jumps and free programs, but one program loaded physical, I mean plyometric, as you can see, LPG, loaded plyometric group. So they improved counter movement jump because we usually measuring and making tests in counter measurement. Squat, you know, without hand swing, counter movement, it's like natural jump. So here in 10 weeks, you can improve, as you can see, almost 6 centimeters. This is indice. In 10 weeks, 6 centimeters is not bad. So it's mean you can significantly improve jumping if you're focusing on that, explosive power, if you're applying right physical load. So in that point, I mean, it's really trainable if you're focusing on the right way and applying right program. Okay, Serbian elite basketball players, national team indices, and again, vertical jump, as you can see, guards almost 60, forwards 57, and centers 54. It's really great indices. So physically, they are really advanced. Žalgiris team, this is not current roster, but just a few years ago. Counter movements, as you can see, mainly around 50, 55 centimeters, someone 63. So elite team, without any doubts, must have players that jumping abilities really develop well. So okay, this is under 20 this year national team, and we have problems with developing of jumping ability. I believe 5 centimeters to add, and we would be better. By the way, we lost to Turkey as well. This team not successful in the last 3 years. They always going for the medals, and quarterfinal, playing Belgium, leading 70 points. 70 points, and we managed to lose. So no one can explain. We've been talking to the coach and so on, but I mean, it's maybe next year, because majority of these players were under 19 and playing for under 20. So next year this. But anyway, I want to show explosive power results. I mean, testing results. So okay, I'm turning to the optimization of physical loads, and I will explain how you can. I mean, this is a very practical application, and my purpose for today is to explain several opportunities, and if you use one of them, I'll be very happy in your training process. So how you can understand optimum physical load application, because in my opinion, with new technologies, what we have now, it's one of the most effective ways of improving basketball program, basketball training program, optimization and individualization of the physical load. So, okay, I will explain a little bit from general frames. I believe coaches, I mean, you know that. I believe I will remind a little bit, but for sure everyone should see the general picture. First of all, going to the detail, should understand general picture. What does it mean multi-year basketball players development? So everything starts from very basic things, physical literacy. It is essential foundation movements, motor skills, developments, and so on, from very basic stuff, starting from kindergarten. And in Lithuania, yeah, it's always a big discussion. Should we have early specialization or late specialization? No one can tell which is better, and very recently Spain was leading. In general, European training system is based on early specialization. Only Australian, United States, Canada, UK based more on late specialization, and we have 3 models. I will explain this, but everything starts anyway from foundation of movements, and this is potential for athletic success. Physical literacy is the foundation of all high performance. This is clear, and so on. Then we come to the physical literacy components. It's fundamental movement skills and fundamental sport skills. When we put fundamental movements, then we go to fundamental sport skills. And then we have 3 models, which you should know. And we have development sport model, LTAD, long-term athletes development, and youth. I will explain youth participation. Okay, I will try to make it And this is also first level of load optimization. 3 rules. The first model, one second, I think, okay, here. Development model of sport participation based on chronological age. You see 3 stages of age, 6, 13 years old, 13, 15, and plus 15. So this is the criteria of optimization. And here we have early specialization and sampling. 2 ways. Early specialization, when you start specializing in some sport from early childhood, 6 years old, so what we do in Lithuania. And sampling, when until 13 years old you play different sports and then decide which you are most talented and so on. And maybe I will show 2 different players. For instance, here, early specialization product, I can say. Lithuanian player, Mantas Rupštavičius, very technical guy, not too strong physically, very well understand basketball, not individually, let's say, not too much individual, playing team play, always looking, passing, and so on. Good, quite good in defense, but he's a good example of early specialization because he been growing in Lithuania, went through all basketball system, and now he's really advancing very well. The second, Matas Buzelis, he was mentioned by Rūtenis Paulauskas, American style player, will be most probably number, I don't know, 5 or 6 pick in the NBA next year. So he's late specialization model. You know, he was a swimmer until 12, 13 years old. He was one of the best prospects in United States for swimming. Now he is almost 2'9", 2'10", and you can see how he's well coordinated, strong, very powerful guy, and this another example of but different development of the player. I mean, dunking and so on, but not so good shooter for 3 points like Rupštavičius. So no one can say who will be most successful. For now, of course, Buzelis looks better, but we'll see how the let's say career will be in the future. We are happy. We already signed. Let's say he will play for Lithuania because American USA basketball was lobbying a lot to get him on the USA team. But now it's done. His father from Lithuania, mother from Lithuania, father working in national team as a physiotherapist. So it was not too hard, you know. But he's amazing in explosive power, in all the physical abilities and so, and 2 meters stand. So I'm coming back to this chart. So the first is a DMSP model. And we have early specialization and sampling. So 2 also optimum physical load application, I can say, but in long-term philosophy. So second, long-term athlete development, who little bit interested in sports science, for sure, you know this. And this based on growth rate. And here you see what kind of physical abilities you should develop in which age when the growth is the most fast and so on. So yeah, it's also optimum physical load application, one of the criterias. And we are very different. As you can see, maturation status, very different. One starting earlier, another later. And when to develop what kind of physical abilities, you determining just looking to the specific person and so on. And the third is youth development model. And this is by maturation status. So prepubertal, circumpubertal, and postpubertal. And here you see fundamental movement skills and sport-specific skills. So what you need to be developed in which period? Speed, power, strength, hypertrophy of the muscles, and so on. So just to make understanding 3 different models, but basically talking about the same. When and what need to be developed from the side of physical abilities. So, and this long talk, I will not overcrowd you too much with that, but just understanding that in long-term development, in 10 years, you have 3 options, 3 criterias: chronological age, growth rate, and maturation status. You also can optimize physical load. Okay, this we see. So here I'm explaining, let's say, more in details, youth physical development. I explained about. Okay, one interesting fact about Mindaugas Kuzminskas, he been mentioned today also. I'm not sure he played in any youth teams, but now he's one of the leading our national team player in the age of 34 years. But interesting fact is that when he was young, 16, 17 years old, in Lithuania we had NBA camp where most talented guys from all over Europe came to Lithuania. And he was not good enough to come as a player, as a participant, so he asked to be a water guy. The water guy who give water to everybody, to future stars. And the destiny is a single guy who played in NBA from this camp is Mindaugas Kuzminskas. So you never know what maturation status, I mean, you should decide, and you should see that he was late maturation, by the way, and he's still playing greatly. Last year, this year in World Cup, he was one of the key players in our national team, being 36. And yeah, Professor Tennis was saying about all these rehabilitation programs, modern, medicine and so on. So, as you know, Luis Scola became one of the finalists World Cup, being 38. 38, yeah. So this is new trends and also says a lot about opportunities, in every age. Okay, I will come to my study, to my research about innovative training method, and we're always looking for more effective models of basketball players' development. And here I will explain one of the methodic what I have implemented in different programs, and it's based on physical load optimization criteria. So it's specific already, not long-term, as explained before. So I will explain what this means. Individual maximum test, individual heart rate, muscle power, structure of competition load, and game situation during the matches. So if you take these guys who been today as a demo players, and you, let's say, make running everybody until, let's say, by heart rate 120. So after 1 minute, 2 minutes, you see differences, how they are different, how the different response of the body to the same physical load. So they will run in very different tempo, especially big guy and small guy. And this is first, let's say, example that they are different and different physical load should be applied to them. Okay, I will start from very clear example of physical load optimization program. For instance, if you are developing aerobic endurance and you give light jogging with heart rate up to 120 for 20 minutes, and especially if you put heart rate or smart watches, just so you see how different tempo everybody take. So idea is, if you make them run the same tempo, some of them will develop aerobic, some of them anaerobic endurance. It's two different tasks. But if you want to develop aerobic endurance, so first criteria for optimization of physical load is heart rate. And you will see, and especially after if you need a rest recovery, so recovery time is very different. You see, when let's say heart rate comes to the initial heart rate 60 beats per minute, so one take maybe 1 minute, another take 2 or 3 minutes, and this is just to understand, I mean, how they different. Okay, speed and speed endurance. Okay, I will try to explain. If you have 30 meters distance and they maximally run these 30 minutes, some of them run in 4 seconds, some of them in 6 or 7 seconds, big guys. And developing speed endurance, you need to tell everyone that you should run with 70% of maximum effort. For some of them, 70% for small guys will be maybe 9 seconds. For big guys will be maybe 12 seconds, 70, because this is the best physical load for every single player to develop speed endurance. 70% of maximum effort. To determine it, you can by time of running, starting from maximum efforts. So in that point, yeah, when you're developing maximum speed, yes, 100, so run as much as you can. When you need a speed endurance, run 70%. You just can determine and calculate for every single person specific time in which they need to run 30 or 40 meters. It works perfectly. Believe me, I had many experiments on that. It works perfectly, and improvements are much better if you tell everybody, okay, run around 70% and you don't calculate exact time. And motivation for guys, much higher. Power, individual number of jumps, plyometric, as I told you. Now, how you can determine specific number of jumps for each player? Okay, this not easy because need equipment. I'm using OptoJump. It's little bit expensive, and we had a talk today. Do we have any free application on mobile phones to measuring jumps? We couldn't find easy. But how it works, I just explaining how it works. When you need to determine exact number of jumps which most suitable for jumping ability development, you need to perform 15-second jump test. So it's mean standing, and when it's OptoJump, there are 2 infrared plates, and you are jumping maximally, and you should go out of the ground as soon as possible, as quick as possible. And when contact time is starting to increase, it means this is the number of jumps what you need to use for jump ability development. For instance, you tell 3 times 8 jumps. Yes, 3 times, 3 series of 8 jumps. Usually, I'm also usually advising this. But when you're measuring with this, some of the players starting to get tired after 4 jumps, some of them after 12. It's very different. And if you give 3 series of 8, so one of them developing or not enough even getting load, and another developing let's say endurance, explosive power endurance, speed endurance, power endurance, not power, not explosive power, and so on. It works perfectly. I had many experiments, and we also had a publication in that I will show you later on, and it's really improves programs of development of, yeah, I should say that it takes more time for coaches especially, and I mean, I understand every coach situation that sometimes there are no even time for calculation and so on, but it works also with players education. Sometimes we give to calculate it for players, and this self-players education increase motivation, and this really works well. Okay, and strength, when you developing strength, simply you use maximum test. criteria, maximum test. For instance, okay, you go to the fitness gym and making push-ups and saying, okay, now the team should make 3 series of 10 push-ups. So determination of exact number of push-ups to every player, again, comes with maximum test. It means once you do maximum test, it's pity, we would make them make these push-ups, all the team, so you would see how different. One can make 15, another 40 push-ups maximally. And if you give to all the team players the same number, so one not enough, another too many. So what we use in our experiment and what science says that determined by maximum in the introductory phase, 50% of maximum. So if one player can make 20, so 3 times 10. If another player can make 40, 3 times 20. And in the main development phase, 2/3. So this guy who makes 20 push-ups as a maximum, 3 times 13, 14. And this guy who made 40, maybe 25. So then you choose appropriate and most effective physical load to the specific player. Okay, I will go further. This was a first part of our experiment, and it was really great improvements in the fitness, really great improvement. It was experiment with 15, 16 years old guys, and second part of the experiment was on court, and we were measuring physical load during the practice and game, because we have this philosophy that we should practice as close to the game condition as possible. Of course, not always possible, because coach needs to explain, coach needs to stop, and so on. And this is very, very, very true. But as many practices you can use in this way, in increased intensity, as better adaptation to the game situation you will have. And here we have 3 ways of making this implementation. So you see, we just measured regular practice heart rate with a game heart rate. And here it's very clear. First period, second period, then a half break, and here. So regular practice, usually it was the same intensity and not enough intensity comparing to the game. So we created, in general, 3 models. I will explain. First was structure of the game load. So again, first period, then 2-minute break, usually shooting free throws, doing some passive, recovery. Then second quarter, again, without big breaks, without long stops, without long explanation. We tried to continue. We even measured first quarter in average last 16 minutes, then 20 almost, 19, 18, and we did this research as well. Then long break, more for explanation, more for tactic, and so on. And again, the first model. The second model was implementing all the game situation. No free shooting, no just relaxed dribbling, always big pressure. We prepared plans in advance, and coaches implemented every step, every single minute as a game situation. So this was another model, and we put this game situation into the structure of the game load. So structure of 4 periods, and also every single situation as during the game. Not always possible to repeat every, but just philosophy of that. So we measured that this modeled practice intensity was higher, was closer to the game, and we applied it for 3 months. So just basically we had 3 models: game structure, then game situation, and then composed game structure and game situation. So what indices and what results we got? Okay, this is game load structure, game situation, and game's load structure plus game situation. So model 1 significantly means in 95 cases of 100. So it's really statistically proved. So speed endurance and special endurance. It's very much needed physical abilities for basketball. If you take a game and summary of physical load, it will be endurance in general, speed endurance, special endurance, and so on. Okay, when we had second model, okay, I don't know. So for game situation was improved of technical preparedness mainly, but the most effective model was third, where game situation were along with game structure. So high intensity with game situation. And it was significant improvement in speed endurance, special endurance, and technical preparation. So my really kind advice is to try to apply. Will not be maybe so clear from the beginning, but when you start to creating this situation and when you start to plan every single practice with a higher intensity, adaptation to the game condition will be much better. And then players will cope game situation during real game much better, much more effective. Okay, this is just few words about what new, let's say, advice by science in the testing, because testing is crucial. We advise to do testing once a month, and this is not overloading, let's say, and disturbing training process. And by this testing, you can understand how fast you are progressing. And I will show what tests. What test we are applying, we are advising, but for instance, Žalgiris school, they have their own methodic of other schools in Lithuania. They also, selecting some tests. It's depending on the technical equipment, what they have. More and more schools obtaining this OptoJump for jumping and for running. And but for running, I believe you can use really successfully phones, just regular chronometers. For jumping, there are no too much, let's say, convenient, I can say, applications. Some of them, very precise, validated by scientific studies and so on. But it takes more time because you are filming, you are cutting, you are measuring. But it's possible. Once a month, I believe, it's possible. But this is what science advise. What kind of jumps? It's regular jumps, speed, direction. Nothing too much new, I can say. And I want to show what we advise in Lithuania and usually do. So, very simple. Nothing. Squat jump. Simple with OptoJump. Then 20 meters run, simple. Why I'm showing this, that this complex of tests allows in 1 hour and a half, in 90 minutes, to make testing for 20 players. So this is fast, and it's no problem to use once per month. It doesn't disturb. This is T-test. This is free test for physical and free test for technical skills measurements. So T-test, and you can find a lot of data to compare, because as Alejandro told today, it's very much important to know if you can have something to compare, someone to compare, and some indices to compare, just to understand where you are. And this is 1 minute shooting. 3 points. One, if you're scoring from let's say lie up, it's 1 point. Here, 2 points. And this is 3 points. And you are counting how many points you're getting in 1 minute. In 1 minute. A lot of data made by Lithuanian scientists about this, just to understand in which level you are. And from 8 to 18 years old. So this and this intensity, it's coming to submaximal or even maximal. Heart rate 180 after 30 seconds if you performing really well, and so on. Okay, and this is dribbling. You always changing hands. So 4 cones, as you can see, starting from the baseline, free throw line, middle, opposite free throw line, opposite baseline, and then it's 212 meters, a little bit more, and this shows speed endurance. It's really, you can find a lot of a lot of tests, different tests for this. But I'm just showing what we are doing, and especially improvements visible when you make this test before and then applying one of the models that I showed during regular, practices with increased intensity, and you do that after like 3 weeks, you see very significant improvement because the endurance is improved very much in players. Yeah, you can see. Okay, so this is 30 free throws. You're making 5 free throws, then walking a little bit around, and then again, and this way 6 times. 30. It's for shooting stability, but it's without physical load, and it's also good test to see. 5 shots, then little bit walk, 10 seconds, again 5, walk, 5, and this 30 free throws. We have a lot of data to compare, and you can see what level you have. And we by the way, we apply this in different Asian countries, and this is joy for players, especially for young players, to compete among themselves, and sometimes you compete with yourself as well. You did it before, you do it again, and this makes really more attractive the training process. I really advise to make it. Okay, I will not go in details, but optimum physical load application includes periodization, skills development, strengths, nutrition, monitoring and assessment, of course, individualization. So it's big field basically of improvements in any training process, and I really advise it to apply. So thank you very much. I would be very happy to answer any question if you have.